You have seen the swan swimming on the river of the Graafstroom, and in this video I'd like you to explain how we achieved that. It's impossible to show you that on the layout. That's why we made the setup, and we replaced the water, which is normally 4 mm varnished ply, by a lot of sheets of transparent plastic, just to get the thickness, because we come into trouble when it's too thin. There's a cart we call the swan mover under the water, which is moving at a very constant speed, guided by a rail. On top of it is swiveling magnet, and which also can go up and down, so it follows the underside of the water. And on top of the water is the swan with a magneto and a surface with very low friction. I explain that. Take off the swan, take off the water. There's the cart of the swan mover running with a magneto on it, and you can see it can go up and down. So, and here is here's the magneto, and I take some balls out instead of the water with the swan on it. Look if I can show it. You see it's free of the water, the magneto. I have to turn it a bit like that. You can see in it. It doesn't touch the water. If it should touch the water, the cart just stops. So take that off. You can see there's a magneto on it and a strong magnet, a magnet and a small roller of brass tube. There's a bit of shrink hose, so it rolls easily. It's glued. It's a piece of Allen Gibson wire, and it's glued with epoxy. The magnet is glued with epoxy. And the cart consists of you can see there's a small belt drive and a gearbox, and it runs very slowly. It's very strong and it's very compact. So we are very glad with these. Show you the cart. It's very ugly made. It runs on a AAA battery, and you can see it runs very smooth. It's almost impossible to stop it. These are wheels from a Lomac, 2 wheels without the tires. The metal tires taken off, and instead we used a slice of silicone hose as a tire. If you don't have, I think you can use shrink hose. This is taken out because it had a very limited height, and here you see a roller, something to point with. This is a roller also, and these are this is the guiding system. The rails is a double bullhead track, just soldered on some nails. We're connected here, and here's a hole, so you can see under the layout. If you put it on a track, you have to put it on a track like that, and then you can see. Oops, that is just on the track. You can see it over here. It's always a bit fiddly to get it on. So put this thing on it. That's also fiddly. So it's on the track. I put the water on it. So, and the swan will just put it on and it moves. There's also a magnet in the swan. That's a trick I learned from Dave Rowe. So you can put it, if you put it that way, oops, it turns around. It always heads in the good direction. There's a hollow and just a piece of magnet glued in it. And then we try to get a surface which is very smooth and Peter came with the idea. He took apart a floppy disk, a very old floppy disk, and there's this fluffy stuff in it. You just pull a piece, rip it off, glue it under it with PVA, you cut off the surplus, and then that's the final thing. We happen to have soapstone powder. It's a bit like talcum, but it's more slippery than talcum. And just in a place on the river which you can't see, we put a small amount of this powder, so it takes the powder with it, and you can see it doesn't jitter, it moves slowly. It took us a couple of years to accomplish that. That's about all I want to tell you about the swan. Thank you.